name is Jeremiah Long, and you are watching the Dallas Weekly's Business Profile brought to you by Mark Cuban Companies. On this profile, we are talking to Felix Lloyd, the CEO and co founder of Zoobean and of Bean Stacks. Nice to meet you. How's it going, Felix?
It's going well, Jeremiah. Good to meet you. Thanks
Yeah,
for doing this.
man. So, I would love to know a little bit more about this company. I'm going to jump and just show real quick. I want to show a little overview of your Beanstax website. This is a
hmm
really well designed website. And while I show you this, will you tell me just a little more? What is Zoobean?
So Zoobean is a company focused on helping people read more and read together. Oftentimes, our products are thought of a suite of Fitbit for reading-like products. We will provide software as a service to libraries and schools, and a mobile app along with a particular product on the screen, a product that goes along with it for kids that are designed to help you track your reading and stay motivated to read through different reading challenges, both seasonal, like a winter reading challenge and a summer reading challenge, and thematic, like the ones you see on the screen here. Reading challenges designed around mysteries and myths or American history and multiculturalism. So we provide the solutions to both motivate, track, and keep good data on that effort.
That's incredible. And I'm
Thanks,
just
man.
looking back to the old days of libraries and library cards and all the handwritten
Yeah,
get out
exactly.
this in. And there
Yeah.
was a certain amount of data coming off of that, who was checking out books and checking it back in. But with
Right,
our
right.
new way of being able to track, parsing that data as to how far people are getting into books, what books
Mhm.
they're reading, what frequency, what's the most engaging books. That's got to be some very valuable data.
That's right. That's right. And something else that's interesting for libraries today versus when you and I might have been younger is they're no longer book warehouses in the same way they might have been. We're in an information age. So while that's still a valuable service, a lot of the space is less dedicated to having stacks of books and more dedicated to engaging people. Now, of course, COVID had changed a lot of this as well, how our library or school engages. So this reading challenge idea, this idea of engaging the community in reading in general, in your sort of mental well-being, your intellectual well-being, is central to what libraries do, what schools do, and of course what families do with each other. And we stay at the heart of that, helping people read more and read together.
That is excellent. Well, that dovetails with what I was about to ask. When and why did you start Zoobean?
Yeah, it's funny because it's brought to you by Mark Cuban Companies. We were on Shark Tank back in 2014 with a very different idea, though it was always about reading. So the initial idea on Shark Tank was influenced by our own experience as parents. My wife and I. My wife's the co-founder, and we are interfaith, interracial family. We found a book at the time that was it pictured a family just like ours, but it had nothing to do about that. But our son, who was 2 years old, pointed to the pictures in the book and said, "That's mommy, that's daddy, that's me." And for us, it was life changing. So the original problem we were seeking to solve was how can we help people of all different backgrounds, with kids at all different stages and interests, connect with just the right book for them. And that sounds great. It is a real problem. Our solution was to send people a book each month, but our particular execution and the need for our solution was not as great as we would have liked. And Shark Tank helped reveal that. We got a lot of attention on Shark Tank, but in the end, we didn't get a lot of sales and the business was not growing. But we did see that the software tool we were using underneath it had value in and of itself. The software we were using to pick the books and identify the right match for a child. So we went to a library conference in the hopes that we might be able to transition to a library being a customer instead of a family. And it happened as such. Sacramento Public Library in California became our first customer. They loved the idea of us connecting people, particularly young families, to books in their collection. And then once we started working with libraries, we saw what they really were doing more and more of as they evolved was not just connecting people with the books, but really helping people more deeply engage with the book in their community. And they did this thing during the summer called summer reading that was huge to them. It was like their retail season.
Mhm.
They were still doing it with paper, like, still giving a kid a paper when they come in the door, have you mark it, stickers. But the day and age of that, it still has a place, believe me. Kids learn a lot that way, but especially now because of the pandemic, but even more so before, or equally so before, just kind of accelerated since there's a need to reach people on their mobile phone on the move outside of the library. And we saw that opportunity and then began to grow more with a focus specifically on software for libraries and schools and corporations that makes it easy to track reading, motivate people to read so they engage more deeply with the book.
That's excellent. So you're actually taking and intentionally combining the kind of old way that libraries were interacting with paper reading lists and stickers and badges and stuff,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
incorporating technology into that. So tell me again a little more about how deeply you're integrating this, and tell me about the Beanstack app.
Yeah, yeah. So I love to use the term Fitbit for reading. People really get it when you say that, Fitbit for reading. Because in the same way the Fitbit helps you sort of walk more or move more because just the fact that it's tracking it, that's step one of what we would make it easy to track. And then what a Fitbit or any service like it will do is then give you the specific goal, 10,000 steps, or look at what your friends have done. And that's more motivating because it's not just tracking it, it's giving me this achievable stretch goal to reach. So that's what our mobile app does. That's what Beanstack and the Beanstack Go app for families does. It makes it really easy to track reading a few different ways.
Yeah.
You can, when you begin reading a book, you can scan the book's ISBN and it just magically appears. You can start a timer. Most reading happens offline. There are
Mhm.
a couple ebook platforms that if you're reading on the ebook platform, Epic, it's a platform for kids. We can just integrate with that and automatically know that you've read a certain amount of minutes or a certain amount of titles. And what you get over time, it's this living history of all the books you've read, how many minutes you've read on average, how many days in a row you've read. You don't want to lose your streak, so hopefully you lose more. And
Yeah.
then periodically, a new reading challenge will be introduced to you. So we just introduced the Read Grateful Challenge. This is November, so a lot of the reading that we're encouraging people to do is around gratitude with virtual badges that they can earn that are themed around November, gratitude, Thanksgiving, and the idea of the more you read, the more of these milestones you achieve. And our app sits at the center of allowing all that to happen.
Wow. That is incredible. That brings up another question that I didn't prep you for offline, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
Yeah.
It's making me wonder, how are people who are doing homeschooling and people who are involved with trying
Hmm.
to track their own kids at home, and what kind of data are you getting back and feedback are you getting back
Yeah.
from the families?
This is interesting because the product that we actually are focused on and part of our conversations and the support we receive from our keeping companies in Dallas Weekly is this offline product. So what we're seeing with the pandemic and the impact on families at home is reading is an activity that is especially embraced because it's a universal habit. The single best way to become a better reader is to read more and to love reading. So for parents that are like myself that have kids around all day and we're trying to figure out what to do, just giving them a book feels so good and wanting them to go off versus a video game versus a screen versus trying to figure out all the stuff they should be doing in school that we can't quite keep up with. So part of what we see with homeschool families and families at home is just that reading itself has even more weight and value. And it's surprisingly harder to achieve in some ways because you got all these screens coming in every direction. So what the badge book helps us do is we use our mobile app still to track the reading, but the badge book's actually a physical book that accompanies it. Yeah, you got great pictures here, where it's a physical book that takes the same virtual badges that you're earning by tracking your reading in the reading challenge, and turns it into stickers, and then gives you that are in this book, and you figure out by tracking your reading where the stickers go. It gives you activities to do in the book that are vocabulary activities, secret code activities, drawing activities that are all learning based. So you get this interplay between this online experience, which is necessary in this virtual space that we're in because of the pandemic and otherwise just the way the world's moving. But you also get this old fashioned analog approach that kids like being able to touch and feel that gets them off the screen. It gets them excited about reading, helps them discover the next book. This American Quilt book is all about different cultures in America, from Black African American to Native American to Italian American to Myths and Mysteries, which is going to focus on a particular genre and help you discover new books. So what we're seeing during this age is that there's more interest in reading, but the challenge in how do we get kids off the screen and how do we compete with the screen? And this is our solution for that.
That's incredible. Like the amount of data and the tactile portion of learning
Tactile.
for young children. Just be honest, they maybe they shouldn't have as much screen time, and that's something that
Absolutely.
we have to balance as parents. And I really like the acknowledgement that you have that the tactile sensation and the tactile nature of learning for young children is very
Hmm.
important. And I truly believe
Absolutely.
that too. Like kids need to put their hands on things. They need to put a
Hmm.
physical sticker on things. But having
Hmm.
that data on the backside where you're connecting that to that experience, especially for the parents, that's got to be almost liberating for the parents because they know that they're helping their kids, but they also have data that's showing how far their
That's
kids.
right. That's
I
right.
I know
The
some.
data, and all the books they've read, and yeah, exactly, Jeremy. I'm sorry to cut you off, but exactly.
Yeah, I know some
Yeah,
parents would be very obsessed with that.
good. Yeah, well, I am, and I have an 8-year-old daughter, a 10-year-old son, and you're right. I mean, obviously, I'm very close to the product, but it means a lot more when you can see your daughter, in my case, lean in and want to use it. We have an Alexa skill as well. That again, our goal is to take the friction away from having to track the reading while still capturing the data and the benefits of that exam. And what you get in this is that people can just read wherever they are, but still get the benefits of understanding the trends around that. But as you said, tactile. What we do with our Alexa skill is we add in the background a little rain music or the sound of the beach or what it feels like to be inside of a mystery novel while the kid is reading. So we try to create something that engages them in a way that they're accustomed to being engaged while taking them back to the old-fashioned
So you guys
read and
actually make
touch.
it. You take a book, and then the
Hmm.
author's done their job, the publisher's done their job to get in your hands, and now
Hmm.
you're making it immersive on top of that.
Yes, yes, and something that is part of your journey through. A lot of the people using the app have been using it for multiple years, so I can go back now and see not just that my son read the book L. Ray Jake's Dragon Slayer, but I
Mhm.
can see the dates he read it, how many minutes he was reading back then versus how many he is now. The virtual badge he earned back then for achieving that goal, and he can see it too, and that keeps him motivated to achieve more going forward.
That's incredible. About how many books is the are registered in your that you could scan? Could you scan almost any book?
Almost any book. We're using a couple of different databases, Google Books, another database called ISBN Scan. Increasingly people are doing audio books as well, and those use ASIN and ebooks as well. So yeah, we've got a date. We use a few different APIs and pretty much connect any book out there at
And about
all.
how many badge book products do you have? And do those associate with individual books, right?
Yeah, and they associate with individual themes. So we
Okay.
have altogether we've created 7 of them. We
Yeah.
currently have 3, with a couple more coming in the spring. The 3 are, and this is after testing families, surveying families. You have STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Yep.
Myths and mystery, that was one of the more popular genres, and the
Yep.
American quilt. Within each of those genres, we recommend several different books that align to those genre, and then do have different activities that align. So in the American quilt book, one of my favorite ones is the story of Rock, Dwayne Johnson, the actor.
Yep.
There's this really cool family tree that shows everything from one side of his family that were slaves 200 years ago, 150 years ago, to another side that's Polynesian and had wrestlers coming out of Hawaii, and then his own story. And so you get this sort of wonderful sort of made quilt of a particular American story and books related to that. Whether you choose those books or not, you get a sort of sense. Whereas in a STEAM book, you're being encouraged to do different experiments, to walk outside and then discover different things. Yeah, man, you're putting this is the good stuff right here. So for us, it's really exciting to lead people down a direction of discovery while still letting each student, each child, each family go down their particular path of engagement and track that path toward the greater goal of simply reading.
That is incredible. You guys, I just want to say thank you as a parent and for all the other parents out there for the work you're doing in this field. We couldn't really do it without help. And so we're always looking at, for the best way to help our kids and stay engaged and to
Hmm.
find new ways to engage. And I know, many years ago when my kids were very young and we were
Hmm.
counting points, we were doing point counts, on
Yeah,
books, like AR points, I believe.
yeah, you got it.
Yeah, we were doing AR points, and now this takes that to such a level that it's going to be more engaging, gives you more background, and really
Hmm.
parses the data. Did they read a book or
Hmm.
not was the only thing that we really gauge things on with our AR
Hmm.
before. Now, like not only are we able to track it, and it's not just me tracking it on a piece of paper or in a chart somewhere. This is bringing real data and that immersive experience. I love everything you guys are doing. I really appreciate the work you
Thanks,
guys.
Jeremiah. Thanks.
So
I appreciate it. And I think from that perspective of a parent is helpful.
absolutely. So Felix, tell me, what is the best way for libraries, school systems, and individuals to get in touch with their company?
We've got a great website, Zoobean.com. It'll actually redirect you to Beanstack.com. So either one of those, Zoobean.com, Beanstack.com, that'll give you our whole slew of products. So we've got our software as a service web application for a library or school, along with our products for consumers. If you're a family, you're interested in just going straight to get that badge book, you can go to badgebook.com. Or if you just want to use the mobile app, you can go to beanstack.com. So right here, you've got our website. It's got the whole story of the company, all the different products we offer. And especially if you want to use the app, go right to the Play Store or the App Store on your iPhone, look up Beanstack as the app, download it, it'll get you going, or go buy a badge book for badgebook.com. And hopefully it's an easy and delightful experience from there.
That's excellent. Well, if there are any final things that you would say to parents or to people reading, if they what would you want to tell people and the people who when they engage with you and they find you the first time, what is something you'd like them to know?
Jeremiah, I'm just a passionate advocate for the benefits of reading. It's right along with fitness. The thing that we have for fitness is you can feel your body. Yeah, we have the vanity around wanting to look good, but reading is in that same family of it. Reading is to the brain as exercise is to the body. So if you read for just 6 minutes a day, it sincerely lowers your blood pressure, lowers your stress. For kids that read 20 minutes per day, they do better than 90% of their peers. Especially given all that we're being hit with these days, from the politics to the pandemic. Reading is just proven socially, emotionally to even things out. It's the single best way to advance any of us from generation to generation. So if nothing else, I want the message to be, whether through our services or otherwise, simply keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. Only good things come from it.
Yeah, and I will tell you, our audience watching right now, Felix Lloyd practices what he preaches. In his email signature, keep reading at the end.
That's it. That's the bottom line.
He's definitely living it. So Felix, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a great interview. For everybody watching, make sure you go to zoobean.com or go to badgebooks.com, and we'll have all those links in the caption. This business profile from the Dallas Weekly is brought to you by Mark Cuban Companies. I am your digital producer, Jeremiah Long, and we've been talking with Zoobean co-founder and CEO, Felix Lloyd. Felix, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, everybody.